Good morning, welcome to Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African News Network TOS Television. My name is Merciful Ajinamo. We have newspapers this morning. Of course, front pages are the headlines and we'll be discussing them. Today, the big stories, of course, talking about Electoral Act and failure of some personnel to resign are one of the issues that are on the newspapers this morning. Analyzing some of these stories is Adebayo Fajime. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We begin with the Punch newspaper. The big story is 2023. Jonathan steps up consultation on APC move. We have two riders. The first, his defection declaration on the way, says supporters. Ex-president's plan to recontest national service, says campaign coordinator. Perhaps do you think this is an assurance from Jonathan, the former president of Nigeria, to come back under the APC?
Well, we are still, or everything we are still hearing, is still under probability, so there is no assurance yet. So, and if he eventually decides to come back and vie, well, it's right, but, like I said yesterday, that, it is not a good time for him. He should rather, build on the democratic legacy, is, building in Nigeria and, on the continent, as a whole. But whatever the case is, so it is still is right, but if he knows what is good for him, I think he should rather be building his legacy and just be relaxing.
All right, that's the big story on the Daily Sun newspaper. That is on page 6 of the paper. From the very top, 2023 election, Igbo leaders urge Southeast aspirants to press on with presidential bid, vow to support them to end. And beside the picture of the day, Osinbajo says, it will be great injustice if I didn't contest. That is on page 25. And then blame military not cooker for Tucano jet delivery delay. NEF replies presidency. That is on page 7. And then dollar scarcity hits banks, worsening insecurity, poor economy hindering state from boosting IGR. And that is on pages 7 and 24 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And the next story this morning, the paper is Daily Independent. From the very top, we see PDP Northern stakeholders reject Saraki Mohammed as consensus presidential aspirant. Besides that, Nnamdi Kanu sues Chief Judge Registrar over secret trial. The big story there is, I'll betray Nigerians if I don't contest, coming from Osinbajo. Of course, we've seen this in the Daily Sun as well. What do you make of this statement? Is this one of those statements that, nominees make before, elections, just to, get the minds of Nigerians?
Our politician could be, excuse me, our politician could be funny sometimes. And, at a time like this is, I think, the way they used to talk. So I don't think Mr. Osinbajo, holds Nigeria any allegiance, for doing what he's doing. It's only his right, in the constitution as a citizen of Nigeria. So he shouldn't be talking as if he holds an allegiance that's okay. He must do what he's doing. So whatever he thinks he wants to do is his choice and his right under the law. So he should rather, limit it on that. But then he should be prepared, because it's going to be really, really stretched. He said he wants to contest, and we have been seeing, his move up and down. But the question is, the credibility. This is somebody who say he has been, in the system for over 7 years now, and that you can see the sector that his office is overseeing, the economic council. You can see what is happening in the economic sector and other things like that. So it should get ready to be stretched, and it should be ready to be asked a lot of questions from Nigerians.
Definitely, all the nominees are expected to, answer questions from Nigerians if they will become president of the country. Still on that paper, we see telecom sector's GDP growth rate faces decline. Besides that, NDLE arrests suspects behind 3 billion naira illicit drug linked to Kyari's team. That is on page 29 of the Daily Independent newspaper. We move over to the Nigerian News Direct paper this morning. From the very top, we see pattern to host African collaboration session at OTC 2022. That is on page 23 of the paper. Besides that, 2023, I will be president for all. Amaechi assures DG of Akure, Ondo, APC. Then we see Osun government commences second year distribution of food support scheme. And then on the big story, there is federal government records 2.3 trillion naira fiscal deficit that's coming from the CBN. And of course, that is on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct paper. And underneath that, we see NDLEA arrest suspect behind 3 billion naira tramadol linked to Abba Kyari's team. That is on page 23 of that paper. And still on other, of course, on other stories there, we see 2023, Olawekpo Hashim meets Kwara Council chairman, endorses Governor Abdulrazak for second term. That is on page 2 of the News Direct paper. Besides that, 15% levy, customs agent shelf plan industrial action. That is on page 22. Let's talk about this NDLA action, arresting suspect behind 3 billion naira tramadol linked to Abba Kyari's team. Now we know of the controversy surrounding Abba Kyari and everything that's happened in the last couple of months. But what do you make of this update and talking about the figure 3 billion naira?
Yeah, firstly, I want to give kudos to the narcotic agency for the great job they are doing. So, this is still an accusation. So the man is not he has not been convicted by the courts. So, but I think my take is just that they should try to do due diligence, make their finding very well. And after that, so if eventually, he's being convicted, then they should, if they have enough evidence against him, then he should be prosecuted and should be made to face the full wrath of law. Because there is high level of impunity in Nigeria, already, and we cannot continue this way. If you are caught in any wrongdoing, you should be made to face the full wrath of law, regardless of your status, regardless of your influence. Because it is only that way that we can, begin to give deterrent to other people not to emulate that kind of lifestyle. So I think with this one, it's a very welcome and a good development, from that particular agency.
All right. On the Punch newspaper, of course, the biggest story this morning is talking about Electoral Act and Amaechi, Ngige, others risk disqualification over failure to resign. We have a couple of rivals there. From the very top, we will disqualify them at screening if they fail to resign, says party chieftain. APC submits register to INEC ahead of deadline, commences sale of forms today. And ruling party awaits court judgment on controversial section, fails to refund aspirant. I remember when we spoke about this issue, this clause of the Electoral Act, and of course a few Nigerians spoke about the fact that will Nigerians actually make it a choice to step out from the office come the elections. And then some were saying, oh, is it possible? Of course, if the law demands it, why not they do it? And now we're seeing this update here. Amaechi, Ngige and others are risking disqualification over failure to resign. What do you think is the reason why they're not resigning?
Well, the reason is best known to them, but what I think is, one as a leader, no matter whatever standard, you set for yourself, or we say, okay, we are setting for ourselves, we should try to give it a high regard, no matter the circumstance you get. So, but, we are known for impunity. We are known as people who have no regard for law. So because of our status, of our influence and the rest like that. So now, for the reason best known to them, but I don't think it's a very good one because it has been, well explained in that 2022 Electoral Act. In fact, if you have a contrary view, which, they have expressed the Attorney General of the Federation, but the issue is in court, and then you wait until, the court says otherwise. So if the court says, okay, nullify this thing, it will not work, of course, then you go by what the court says, but this is what has been amended, and they say, okay, this is what we have in the Electoral Act, and yes, you are not abiding. Then what kind of example? In fact, to me as a Nigerian, it is number one factor I will use to disqualify those people, coming to say they want to vie for any post come 2023.
Because really, if you look at it, it's a decision to not obey the law.
Yes.
And now you're coming out for people to, look out for you as a leader and serve by example.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with you on that one. Of course, that's on the Punch newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, of the big story is North plots to retain power. Afenifere, Pandef, others allege. And of course, we have other newspapers this morning. And just make sure that you're always, staying updated on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. And our social media platform handle is at TOSTV Network on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you so much, Adebayo, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And thank you, viewers. We'll come your way again tomorrow. My name is Merciful Ajinmo. Bye for now and see you tomorrow.